I'm not a crook.
Welcome to Law Bite. The following is for entertainment purposes only.
I'll never tell a lie.
It is not legal advice, not even close. And now for the very finest in idiotic legal news and commentary. This is Law Bite. Welcome back, everyone. This is Law Bite. I'm your host, Christian. I wanted to say thank you again, everyone, for all of your support, for continuing to listen to the show, and for spreading the love, for letting people know. Today is a bonus round, as you may have read if you opened up this episode and saw the title. It's a bonus round. We're calling this the Gun Show. And this one hits actually pretty close to home in a very literal way. And when I say it literally hits close to home, I actually mean the actual use of that term. This is this is coming out of Seaside, Oregon, where I live. Well, at least where most of my life is centered, and the community in which I live, and the people with whom I do business and thrive, and we work and we play together. That's our spot, a little beach town on the coast of Oregon, of northern Oregon, connects directly to Portland via Highway 26. So we get a lot of folks from Portland out here, a lot of tourists that come out here. A lot of folks are just out here to come have fun in the sun. They come out in the summertime. They come and, they stay sometimes, and they patronize the businesses, which we very much appreciate. We like having them out here so that, we can continue to thrive, because our economy is almost, completely based on tourism, or a lot of it is anyway. So as you probably know, what this is all leading up to is that Portland has somehow become center stage for, political agendas, for, both mistruths or lies, and a lot of other misrepresentations that are used for political gain these days on a national stage. And who knew that, not only Portland, out here in Oregon, would become the focus of attention for the douchebag in an orange hat, but it is. That's what's happening. And as a result, by sheer proximity, I guess, Seaside is too. And I'll tell you how. There was very recently, and there have been a lot of incidents recently that have actually involved Seaside and some of the folks who are Trump supporters. Some of them are, the Patriot Boys or Patriot Prayer. I don't know what they call themselves. But some of them kind of trickle out here. A long time ago, some of these folks attempted to come have a protest because they wanted us to open the coast. Okay. It wasn't a very strong showing, but it was what it was. But more recently, this is what happened, and it concerned the Seaside Brewing Company. And Seaside Brewing Company, it didn't necessarily concern them directly, but it happened right around their area, so it affected them very much. And the Seaside Brewing Company posted something on Facebook that I will read just the first paragraph of to you. It's a very long post, but I think it's telling, because we're now starting to feel some of the aftershocks, or maybe even some of the current shocks that are coming out of Portland, and all the folks who seem to be obsessed with Portland and this ridiculous law and order agenda that the people seem, I should say the Republican Party and that dude in office are trying to push these days, especially as the election looms. So here's the first paragraph of what Seaside Brewing Company had published. I'll quote just the first part to you. It says, on August 8th, a group of armed men and women staged a rally in Seaside, Oregon, directly across from our brewery and brew pub. This rally was political in nature, and many of the participants of this rally were openly carrying loaded AR-15 style assault weapons, sidearms, bats, swords, knives, etc. There was no counter rally or protest at this location. As the rally continued and the honking and noise and activity increased, many families became concerned for their safety and began leaving the area we had created outside in our parking lot. designed to provide a safer environment for people to eat outside with their families during a difficult pandemic summer at the coast. Many of these families remarked that they would not be returning again to Seaside because of the assault rifles they were seeing paraded up and down the street. One of these men with an assault rifle in front of our brewery was actually arrested for shooting at protesters in Portland just days later. All right, I'll leave it at that. It goes on in great length, but that sets it up. And I'll let you know that Seaside Brewing Company, in response to some of the mandates that have come out of state legislature and even local legislatures or local governing bodies, where you now, if you're a restaurant, you got to have folks sitting at least 6 feet apart. So what Seaside Brewing Company did, which I thought was a great idea, they converted their parking lot into a seating area. So everybody can sit outside. They can have plenty of space, plenty of open air, much less risk for folks to come and enjoy beer and brews and everything else and to be at the beach. That parking lot is directly adjacent to Highway 101, which runs up and down the coast. It's also across from City Hall. It's across from the sidewalks over on Broadway, which intersects with Highway 101. So it's one of the main intersections of town where lots and lots of people are driving through and they see it. And apparently this rally that he's talking about, or not necessarily a rally, maybe it was, but a lot of these Trump supporters were carrying, as he mentions, AR-15 style assault weapons. Basically, assault rifles, just carrying them up and down the street. All right. So from this is law-abiding, I guess, right? So let's take a look at this from a legal perspective. Let's just set the stage. Why not? Let's just talk about it rather than rather than view this from an emotional standpoint and get your emotional hackles up just quite yet. Let's take a look at what is some of the law, or what are some of the laws that surround carrying a weapon in Oregon. Now, from my understanding, you don't need a license to carry a firearm in Oregon. You do need a license if you're going to carry that firearm in a concealed fashion. If if you're going to put it under the seat in your car, if you're going to put it in your backpack and carry it around down the street, you do need a concealed carry permit. You need a permit. But otherwise, if you are just openly carrying that particular firearm, then no, you don't need a license for that. Now, most folks are, going to be taking a weapon from one place to the other. I don't see a lot of people just hanging out with, handguns hitched to their belts, rifles, shotguns, just carrying them around. I mean, why would you do that? What do you need it for? There are other laws in Oregon. Actually, you can even carry those firearms around loaded. So far as I know, the law permits that. However, there are certain locales that say you cannot carry around a loaded firearm. Unloaded, fine. Now, I'll tell you that something that folks may know or may not know about me. I am a gun-toting Democrat. Yeah, they exist. Here we are. Here I am. I'm a gun-toting Democrat. I have a gun safe that is full of guns, shotguns, rifles, and I keep them in a safe. You know why? Because it's just like it sounds. It's safer that way. That's why they call it a safe. And I don't necessarily carry those things around. I will say that, in Clatsop County, we are fairly accustomed to guns. There's a lot of us that own guns of whatever political persuasion, a lot of us that own guns. But you know what? We use them for hunting and some folks maybe even for home defense. You know what? And that's fine. So if we are carrying around guns, it's because we're going hunting. For these folks that are carrying around AR-15 style assault rifles, you're carrying it around because you're a fucking moron. It's dangerous. You're carrying around an assault weapon, parading up and down the street. What are you doing with it? You're showing us that you have Second Amendment rights, that you can carry a gun? No shit. No, we know that. We're not impressed. This is Clatsop County, dumb shits. We know that. You're showing your guns to a bunch of folks who are like, yeah, so? But at the same time, if I'm sitting there with my daughters and my wife, my family, and I'm watching a bunch of people parade up and down the street with AR-15s, I'm going to get nervous. You know why? Because it appears to me that those people have no fucking clue how to handle a gun. Because if they did, they wouldn't be parading around outside with it. Yeah, there is such a thing as gun safety, and parading it up and down the street is not consistent with gun safety. So please excuse me for my swearing parade. But yeah, it does make me a little bit fucking angry when I see people misusing guns, because it gives gun owners a bad name. It gives us a bad name. If you don't know how to handle your gun safely, that denigrates all the people who do. And that's what bothers me. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to be a Second Amendment proponent or opponent. I mean, I enjoy my Second Amendment rights. Yeah, I do. That doesn't mean that I take my guns and march up and down a public sidewalk and scare the shit out of families who are just trying to eat a meal. That's not what it's for. But do what you're ever going to do, I guess. But know that, you know, if you're coming out here to Seaside, I'm not sure that you're welcome. Okay? Now here's how the rest of this post. Let's get back to the post that Seaside Brewery put here on Facebook. I think it was very well written. There's a part here where he says, "We do not know or belong to or speak for any Antifa group." This is what he says. We do not know or belong to or speak for any Antifa group. We do not know, belong to, or speak for BLM, Black Lives Matter. We are not gun rights advocates or opponents of the Second Amendment. However, we do not appreciate, nor will we accept or remain silent or be intimidated or terrorized by groups with guns or other weapons in our community. We reject any characterizations to the contrary these groups may try to paint us with. We brew beer, we smoke barbecue, we promote our amazing community, we love the beach, and we are excellent to each other. Yeah. Now, these folks that, some of these Trump supporters that caused trouble in Portland, that were part of the trouble, whatever you want to say, that are now trickling out into our community out here on the coast of Oregon, they plan on coming back out this Sunday. That's right, this Sunday, the Labor Day Sunday. And I don't know what they're going to do. But if you're going to take your guns and parade them up and down the sidewalk in front of the brewery, if you're going to pull this shit again, just know, and I reiterate, you are not welcome here. You don't need to do it. It's stupid. It's unnecessary. And we don't want you here. All right. I've said my piece. I've also stated the law, and I've openly admitted that there may not be anything that we can legally do to stop you. But again, you're not welcome here. And I hope that everybody listening to this is at least understands my position on this and the great people that are out here in Clatsop County who are just trying our best to, again, safely handle firearms and to forge our community and to try to get through some of these difficult times. And we don't need anybody to make it worse for us. And we do appreciate the people who do come to visit and are very respectful and are coming here to drink beer and not show us how big their gun is, because we're not impressed. All right, guys. Thank you so much again for listening to this bonus round called The Gun Show, the very unnecessary gun show. We do appreciate you. Remember to share us with all your friends, your folks. We very, very much appreciate your support. Thank you again for listening. We will see you again in a couple days. This is Law Bites. See you then.